Yo, it's like Levi Arc, innit? It's been a while. It has been some time. It has been a while. But you know, it is what it is. So this is a bit different, but I'm going to attempt to do something that I've never done before. Analyze some candles. Yes, some candles. Right, it's basically like the health of the market. So like candlesticks tell you health of the market. Pretty much in a nutshell. That's the guan, and that's kind of what we're going to go into. So we're just going to take it like, analyze each individual candle and then kind of go, okay cool, so what's this one telling us? And then basically go, okay cool, so based on what this candle is telling us, what do we do next? And if that's like a warning, or if we should stay out, if we should like watch, or should we take a trade, and hopefully, you know, that improves my gist and where we're gonna go with that kind of that area and oh my god stuff. We're doing this on like the 2-minute chart, so yeah, so we're just gonna like focus on one chart, so nothing else, like analyzing literally nothing else, literally just looking at the candles on one chart and then basically going, alright cool, based on this and stuff, and see how it kind of fits into the overall ball of stuff. So beforehand I will have drawn in some support and resistance. That is just basically support and resistance. Point being, support and resistance is like, it's like where it reverses polarity essentially. So like you have an area where a candle was touched, or it's like a previous high or a previous low, right? And it acts as resistance. So if it's like above, it's like an area where it's going to react as such, not necessarily bounce off, but cause some kind of reaction. So I did draw some of those in, but I'll probably draw more of those in as we proceed. Everything's all mumbo jumbo. Let's start from 8 o'clock. Okay, cool. 8 o'clock, perfect number. Alright, cool. So already we've got unusually large candle here. So this is this candle here, but this is just before 8 o'clock because that's what we've been looking at, is a bearish engulfing, which is like right next to a resistance level, which, well, a support. So this is support, and then this here, and it breaks through. Okay cool, so we're going to start from this candle. So we've got a bearish engulfing, and then we've got, it's a shooting star or morning, what the, you know what, I don't even know, like, let's find my book. Ah, there we go. It's called an evening star. Cool. It's called an evening star, and on top of that, that's not just an evening. So this trio setup here, you've got a bullish candle, but it's not after like, it's probably not like valid, but it's in the scenario of like after a rally. Usually it's like it rallies up and the shooting star appears here. It's proceeded to like go down in trend, and then that evening star, but it hasn't like proceeded after a rally, but it's just extra confirmation, I guess. But this here, this long upper body with this small real body, so the real body is that grey filled in shape with the long upper shadow. What's that called again? A shooting star. Yeah, it's called a shooting star. So this long upper shadow is a shooting star, which has a bearish implication. Essentially what's happened is the bulls pushed it up, but then the bears were like, ha, no, squished it down, and was like bonk, like that. So you essentially got a shooting star with an evening star. I think there's like a double barrel name somewhere in there, something in there that yeah. But you've also got this after a TD point, which is kind of interesting. So you've got a TD point, so you've already got bearish engulfing. So the basic bearish engulfing, the candle engulfs the previous candle, right? Hence engulfing. So it's engulfing, and then it breaks this trend line, breaks it, boom 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 boom, and then we've got another from here this area here, and then that at obviously like past 8 o'clock, which it's broke through the support. Okay, cool. By this point, if you know that there's support there, I'm thinking, okay, cool. Now it's gone past that resistance line. I could be looking to come out or stay in, right? So now I'm looking for a warning. Alright, cool. So I could either target that resistance line from that break. What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh yeah, no, here. Yeah, okay, I'm looking at the wrong spot. Oh my god. Cool. So we broke and it's hit this resistance line. Alright, cool. So now I'm looking for a warning. So we've got a bullish engulfing now. A bullish engulfing preceding a downtrend. So bullish engulfing is only valid if prior is a downtrend. It can't just be just anywhere. Like it has to be a downtrend for it to be bullish engulfing. At least according to the books I was reading. Cool. So we've got a bullish engulfing. Cool. And then supposedly after that, that instantly acts as support, I think. We would draw a support line here. Now obviously we've got another support line below it, which isn't really like support as such, but it's like, it's the previous low. So that's identified by the TD program I've got running, which just tells me all the lows. It's just sort of easier rather than trying to visually do it. Point being, that acts as a thing and it pokes through, then doesn't close below it, tells me that there's something there. Oh yeah, this previous low here as well. Previous low here as well. Okay, cool. So you've always got to look at like the previous lows. I'm thinking it's touched that point. Alright, and you've got a bullish engulfing, it's reacted like that. We do have a... What am I doing with this stick? I don't know what I'm doing with this stick. We do have a bullish engulfing here. No, sorry, bearish engulfing. But it's just not very great. At that point, like, you've also... If we take away these circles... We've got a lot of shadows, a lot of lower shadows. So these lower shadows that we're seeing around this area, right, shows us that the bears are losing momentum and the bulls are trying to take over. So already this should be indicating, as right next to that resistance is a warning sign for a reversal or some sort of change, like in direction, or some sort of change. It indicates some sort of change. It doesn't necessarily indicate a reversal, but it indicates some kind of change. Instantly we're thinking, okay, cool, we've bailed out of this trade here, right? Because obviously now we've got a giant hammer which is here, right? That's not a hammer because it's not 2 times that. So a hammer has to be 2 times or 3 times the real body, and if the real body is really small, grey, and it has to have little to no shadow. That shadow isn't, that has a tiny, I mean, to be honest, it looks pretty big on my screen, but let's just call it hammer for the sake of for everything, really, to be honest. Anyway, long upper shadows again down here, and then we've got a bullish candle which really eats into the previous bearish candle, which is basically a piercing pattern. Yes, it's a piercing pattern. So where you have a bearish candle and then you have a bullish candle that goes more than halfway of the previous candle's real body. It's closed around here. This candle has actually gapped down. Yeah, that's a piercing one. That is a piercing candle. So it's closed here. This candle's closed here, and then it's gapped down, and then so it's open lower, but not lower than the low, just lower than the close, and then proceeded to go more than halfway of this candle. Implies bullish momentum, and that's at this point you could probably take a trade above this resistance line and plonk it here, but at the same time we've got a TD line, so if you wanted further confirmation you could wait until that breaks and then comprende. Then that does break, and then we have 3 extremely large candles which are close to, I do believe, free advancing my goodness, soldiers. Yeah, free advancing soldiers, which are basically continuation candles. So there's obviously like a lot more to go. These are this here free, and it's usually this one not quite so much, but essentially like it's where the candle does closes near its high, whereas this one doesn't quite do it. But yeah, well, you can see that it's literally smashed through that resistance line. The last time it's touched that area was around here, these points. So yeah, and it's gone all the way up here. At that point, it's reached this area here, and then it's reacted and then turned into a bearish engulfing. At that point, you are pretty much looking bearish. However, if there's a trade to be had there, there's not really, because obviously there's another resistance line that falls below it. What you're looking for is another entry that is like suggesting that it's going to break that resistance line. So as it approaches the next resistance line, I'm thinking, alright, cool, warning again, and then basically go, wait, alright, you see all these spikes here, right? But you've got a lot of like lower spikes where it's reacting and bouncing off, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is what I mean, like, is that basically saying it's going to proceed to go higher, right? Or is that going to collapse even further? What you're waiting for is some kind of confirmation to say that that is basically going to fall or even proceed to go higher. So even like even though you've got hammers here, like if you're looking at it from this perspective before this can, but it's also got a lot of shadows above it as well. So at this point you're confused. You're not really sure where it's going. You've got a doji there. It's like ranging. You've got like TD points forming this way, TD points forming this way. It eventually breaks this way, but then also breaks this way as well. Arguably, how could you look at that? So if you were like looking, okay, cool, we've got a piercing candle here, but it's not a great one, and then it's bouncing, and then here we've got a bearish engulfing. This signal here, the bearish engulfing, and the bearish engulfing that breaks that resistance line. When it breaks that resistance line, okay, cool, we're called to trade, but the risk rewards is not as plentiful, but you know, like it's still there, it's still something. So cool, you're trekking down, boop, 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 boop. You've come out of this area, like the next resistance line. I think it's better to have them like largely spread out, so it's not so like boom, 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 boom. If they're too like cluttering, then it's sort of just looks like a mess. And when you're trading, it's not as free-minded. Like you got to look for like the more obvious resistance lines, the ones where they're really like responding. Well, anyway, it's hit this line. All of a sudden you're thinking, alright, warning, right? Probably best to just come out before that. Clearly it literally smashes upwards like this, a massive bullish engulfing. Again, seeing risk reward absolutely terrible, because obviously it's right next to another resistance line. You're not going to take a trade ideally that close to a resistance line. And then obviously we've got here, it's not great, but a dark cloud. Yeah, I think it's called dark cloud cover. I can't find it anywhere, but yeah. But the thing is, it's not closed more than halfway, so it's not very great. It has reacted to that, but then it's proceeded to come down, and then we've got another piercing candle here. By this point, obviously, as it's come down from a downtrend, we're going, alright, cool. You could take the low as support. Have your risk, so this would be your risk, and then obviously like what you could target if you're planning for proceeding higher rallies, whatever the picture looks, you could literally just hold out, and obviously you see it's like completely took off. But this is all a theory, as we can see. Alright, so my thoughts so far. So I've been reading this book. Oh yeah, it's upside down. Okay, cool. I've been reading this book, right? Totally crazy, totally crazy. Really recommend it. Haven't actually got all the way through it. I have got all the way through this one though. This one was a proper gurner. I'm not gonna lie, proper gurner. This one. It's like, it's crazy. It's freaking crazy. I was like, oh my god, there's like so much to learn. Shame they're all so expensive. Oh well, it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. You know, but really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. To be fair, it's like you know, something to do on the side. Like, it's kind of nice to just have something going on in the background, like learning little bits. I'm really enjoying like the learning process of it. Like, even if like nothing comes of it, like, I'm really enjoying the learning. Hope you enjoyed that. If you want to join me on my journey, like and subscribe, because honestly, like, I love it. But yeah, I'm going to continue to post. I am finding it really difficult because I honestly don't know really where to go. So I'm just like, what do I do? But yeah, like, honestly, hope you enjoyed. Have a good day. Enjoy stuff. Drink lots of coffee. And yeah.